Yeah, hello. Today is Monday, June 14th, and today I did same thing as last week. Hang power snatches, Snatch RDLs, push press and overhead squats, pull-ups and core. And today was not great. I definitely, I'm glad that Aaron was here with me today because I think otherwise, it would have just gone to shit. Because there was a point where I, in the hang power snatches, maybe set 3 or so, where everything just felt like it was falling apart. But then Aaron sort of gave me one small piece of advice, technical advice that made the rest a lot better. And so that sort of, I think, salvaged the day in terms of how I felt about it. Maybe not necessarily how productive it was, but certainly how I felt about the day. So I definitely am aware of the fact that it could have gone way worse. So I am grateful for that. I guess that's just sort of one of the perks of being able to have your coach in person there with you versus remote. But yeah, with these hang power snatches, I don't know. There were specific issues that I will certainly address, but I think overall I just wasn't really moving like my usual self. Just things just felt off, and I just wasn't moving well. This is my last warm up for a lot of my snatches, and this is kind of a problem I've had with some of the previous snatch sessions in the week before. But I just need the bar path to be a little bit skinnier, because with a lot of these, they're pretty sort of loopy, goes very out forward and then travels far back, so a lot of lateral movement. And another issue, again, is, not again, I don't know why I said again, but another issue on top of that was that I let my back sort of get loose after setting it tight at the top. So that first set right there was not that bad, actually. Might have been, it was one of the more solider ones, obviously, with them being makes, unlike some of these. But yeah, I think up until set 3, I was going a little too low when I bring the bar down. It was it's at my knees, and I think bringing it down lower. So there I didn't fail it per se, but it definitely was not power, so I didn't count it. I didn't count it, and I knew after I did that rep that I was like, no, it's not power. Versus this one where the third one is actually just a fail. But it's pretty slight, but you can see my sort of back uncurl after I set it tight when I bring the bar down, and wasn't helped by me bringing it all the way down to my knees. And yeah, this third set was definitely the worst one. It's all over the place. I'm everywhere. I'm literally all over the place. First one I was sent all the way back, second one all the way front, and then that third rep, there was no way I was making that. I might have gotten hurt if I had tried to, but I knew at extension I was so I don't know. That's why I say I feel like I wasn't moving my usual stuff. I feel like I have I usually have a pretty vertical extension. I mean, there are some reps here and there where I let myself lean back, but I generally have a pretty vertical extension, at least compared to that, and so I don't know. But then that fourth set sort of in between the third and the fourth set was when Aaron suggested that, hey, maybe going a little bit lower, stopping at above your knee when you bring the bar down for the hang. Maybe that might help with keeping the back tighter, and that definitely did. I think just having less of a distance to travel just minimizes the likelihood of me being out of position, and so with me bringing it a little bit lower, I'm just less prone, less likely to be out of position, and so thankfully set 4, 5, and 6, even after some really bad reps at set 2 and 3, I was able to get some much better reps in. So that made me feel I was okay, I'm really glad that Aaron was there, because like again, just this day could have gone really badly, at least in terms of how I felt about it, but I sort of was able to like come back in the middle of it, which honestly it didn't really after that third set I did not feel like I would be able to. I almost had completely given up in my mind after that, but dug deep, I guess. But so that's how that went. Multitude of problems, but at least I'm able to recognize them, right? That's like the first part of fixing any kind of mistake. So just need to do the right things to improve upon those points. And then Snatch RDLs, nothing special, but but one thing from the hang powers that I mentioned, like my back sort of getting untight, getting loose as I bring the bar down, that was something I was focusing on trying to maintain with these RDLs, just keeping my back tight, as tight as I set it at the top, and maintaining that all the way through, which was certainly helpful, given that it was already a problem. I guess in the full snatch, I really won't have any reason to like sort of go down like that or have that opportunity, but I think overall it's just good, regardless of whatever direction I'm moving the bar, and it's just good practice to like always try to maintain a tight back. But those were snatch RDLs, and then moved on to push press and overhead squat. These felt really good, actually. My overhead position felt really solid in the bottom position of the squat. I feel like I've had problems with like overhead squat type movements before, because I just can't get comfortable in that bottom position with the bar. That was a little wonky, but that was the only sort of at the bottom there. The bar came forward a little bit, and I wasn't just pushing back enough, and so I almost failed it at 60, which is my first warm up. But after that, I was totally fine. But everything felt solid. The push presses were really easy. The overhead squat was also honestly pretty easy. No complaints. This is my first set. I'm also doing a pretty good job, I think, of like not letting my hips curl under. And what I was going to say was like it, to be fair, the bar is on my back versus on my front rack. And with the bar being on my front rack, it's a lot harder to like do that, which is why I struggle with the hips in the dip and drive of the jerk and the push press and whatnot. So like, to be fair, it is easier with the bar on the back, but still, I've had problems with my hips curling under, moving forward, even with the bar on my back. So, progress is progress. And I think that also made these push presses feel easier because I was able to do that. Last set, and this last set I just, held the bottom position a little bit longer just to challenge myself, I guess, because it was feeling very, very light and very easy. And so, that's about it. Just did some pull-ups and then GHD Sit Ups. I did opt out of putting my hands above my head like I did on Saturday, because that just absolutely wrecked me, and I was still very, very sore, and so I just crossed my arms. But hopefully my abs will be less sore. Solid.